Alrighty guys, last match we're going to cast today is this ZvT. In the bottom right hand corner of this best of 3 is going to be our red Zerg player Dark. As this is, I believe, again, a fight for basically first place in this group. Can't remember the exact standings, but I don't want to look them up just in case I spoil myself, because this was played a few days ago and apparently the results got out there somewhere, so I'm trying to avoid the results of my own tournaments. And in the top left, our blue Terran. From Mouse Sports, it is HeroMarine. Biggest of games. Here to crank out some games for us. In number 1 of this best of 3. And kind of actually intrigued about this one. Dark is always playing some fun ZvT, terrifying to go up against. It's always fun to see gameplay. Dark and HeroMarine, not the two players that kind of match up against each other a whole bunch. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. Let's see what goes down across the course of this series. We do have ourselves the Overlords already moving out from Dark, getting some vision going. We start the series on Grezvan as well. This is the map that has that split map potential more so than most of the other maps. Not that the other maps can't split map, but this one really encourages some of that late game. So, yeah, we'll see what's going on. Didn't HeroMarine stream these games himself? Yeah, but he might well have done so, and he's absolutely within his right to do so. I don't ban players from streaming their games. If that's where the results are from, that's absolutely fine. I kind of thought that might be the case, but like I said, I haven't seen these. I don't know the results. They were played on a week ago today. A week ago, because they were played on the day I traveled to Home Story Cup. I remember getting on my flight, taking off, and then I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot to tell these guys I wouldn't be able to talk to them because I'm flying. Fortunately, I landed, and there was a set of replays on my Discord. I was like, oh my god, thank goodness, because that could have been big Sag. Big Sag. Yeah, anyways, it all worked out. Qlings gonna run around. Reaper is gonna have to back it up just a little bit here. A few drones, queens, etc. all coming through. Hatchery coming up. Be coming around, Cycling Speed is coming through, and you have a couple Hellions popping out, and game just getting established here initially. Tech Lab coming in. And it's going to be having our Overlord setting up over on this edge. Starport is building. Our CC number 3 coming through, so just triple CC from HeroMarine. Nothing too crazy about his starting point of this. And the Reaper that gets pushed back for the moment has not exactly found too much wild bits and pieces just yet. So on we go. Hellions will be looking for any initial drones that are over here ripe for the picking, but there's not really going to be too much of an opportunity straight away, so these couple of Hellions and the Reaper get turned back around. Banshee's coming up, a couple of Hellions are coming in. And Link Speed's about to be done, so Dark will have Lings able to come and aid him over the next segment of this game. And the couple of Queens coming through, as well as we do see a Banshee from Gabe. Nothing really wild, even if it's just Cloakless Banshee, right? One Cloakless Banshee just kind of gets set up to defend. We're actually going to go Banshee into Raven. Now, the Raven is a little bit more intriguing. A little bit more kind of something worth actually talking about even, because you don't see the Raven every day of the week in this matchup. But it is a... I feel like it's one of those units that can absolutely still be pretty viable. Obviously, you don't need scans to get rid of the creep if the Raven is nearby. You can drop auto turrets to help you fight. The only thing I will say is if you want to get this Raven up, every single Hellion is actually quite valuable, because then every Hellion adds more skirmishing value to the Raven when you drop those auto turrets. The Hellions are going to be fighting too, so the more of those there are, the better generally it would probably be. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say. I like it something a bit different on a map like Gresvan. You can immediately be quite controlling of the map, of the creep spread, of the map control. Try and take as many of those options away from Dark as possible and make this as difficult as possible. I think just sit on the 4th base here. We'll start to knock down the hatchery just a little. You just see how 1-1 upgrades coming through. The stim pack's about halfway done. And melee upgrades, Baneling Nest all being brought in. 7 additional drones do get built. So keep on building those drones up, getting those numbers rocking. And yeah, the Hellions just backing away. 3rd CC's already up as well. So really a pretty peaceful game. Interesting wall here. Dark gonna fully wall this right side. It's going to be very difficult to slip units into this mineral line. You don't see Zergs doing that a lot. Usually Zergs appreciate the ability to kind of have freedom to move out from their bases and so on and back in. To me, those Evo chambers just look very, you know, weak and vulnerable should there be some kind of a, you know, counter-attack, some kind of a siege push or something. I feel like then that wall-off can maybe just be very deadly. But I guess who pushes in from that sort of direction? Pretty good question, right? Who does that? You know? Who does those things? Well, not really anybody. Aliens moving back up the top. Still seeing the melee upgrades coming through. The 1-1 attack and armor coming in. Combat shield is just now starting up as well. With Hellions and a Reaper in the center. The Raven overhead as well. We will just continue to move along here as our Marines will get set up. Still just seeing that 1-1 upgrades coming through. They're already here for Dark though, and if HeroMarine chooses to fight right now, he's not going to have his upgrades, so he needs to perhaps be just a little bit careful as we go back and forth. Some of the Lings, some of the Banes starting to get in a position. Oh, beautiful little move from Dark, going for the wraparound, gets the surround, forces the lift up, and just means that HeroMarine cannot continue to kite towards extreme amounts of value as he was beginning to do so. It's good to just shut that down, block it down early. And then connects on a couple of these Marines. The other Lings showing up now as well. So the Medivacs are going to go slipping away back towards the top side of the map. We do have 2 more Medivacs coming down the left-hand side as well. Medivacs will continue down the south. The Ling Bane still collecting around the right side. Marines, tanks, Medivacs, Raven joining up together and just seeing whether or not this push can get anywhere. Taking position in the center here already. It is just straight up 8 Rex from HeroMarine, so he just wants to go all out, big push and never stop. Baneling's going to continue forward. A few of these Marines getting picked away at. We do see the wraparound as well, so it looks as though HeroMarine might just be in a little bit too much trouble getting out of this. Seems unlikely. Looks as though that's going to calm things and settle things down here as 7 drones do go down. So the bigger push cleaned up. Dark resources lost is a little bit behind here, Marines. He does have an okay-ish work account though. Just trying to think if I'm worried for Dark at all. I don't think so. Like, he's a little behind on army, but I feel like in a very manageable way, like a manageable amount behind. Like, he should be able to bounce back from this still, so yeah, I guess not super concerned. This Medivac goes down though, and HeroMarine is continuing to lose some of his presence on the map, which is even better for Dark, who is going to continue to sit on his 5 bases. All of them up, all of them alive at the end of this. Even has a ton of spores already set in the main, by the way, so he actually has already put in a lot of investment to making sure he's safe and defending, you know, from future threats. That obviously helps out a whole bunch as well. Lings and a Bane going down. We do have a couple more drones dropping as well. Lings and the Bane's running back once more here, and just going to be seeing this army's trying to get on top of everything. A lot of these Marines still running, as that Bane's still chasing through. And just going to be seeing 3 drones getting dropped. These last few Marines also getting picked away at. On the right hand side, while the hatchery taking some damage. The rest of the Ling Bane coming up as well. Upgrades just continue to produce here. Marines, Liberators continue to get set. Marines will unload behind this mineral line will pick off that Zergling. The Queen still pushing in. The Lings, the Banes, point to reach you as our medevacs are going to boost forward, grab those units up. This drone on the top side is going to get picked away at. Now this hatchery begins to fall. That Banshee just from earlier in the game has really been trying to just put in work throughout his Lings on the counterattack. Won't find anything on the natural. If they finally get into this third base mineral line, there's SCVs to be killed here, and they will start to get a few. Just took a while to really make their way in as Gabe continues his big push through the center. Liberators are sieging. Tanks are preset. I mean, this base is going to be given up as well. Doc's starting to play up the right side of the map rather than this kind of more centralized setup. As he hits Ultras, I mean, there are libs out to help with the Ultras at first here. Generally, I feel like hitting Ultras in this scenario is meant to kind of clean up these ARAX pushes. Liberators, like I say, will be a helping hand to that, but now we're getting Vipers as well. I think Doc is really getting this game under control. I think this game is not quite just going to have enough power behind it from HeroMarine anymore. I think he's going to lose out on the last little bit of oomph that he needs to really close out. Now he's being chased around. Ultras here just going to help to lead this charge in as Lings and the Banes push on forward. These few Marines going to try and retreat away still as the Lings do wrap fully around this. Couple libs sieging up overhead. Again, until the Viper's out, there's no way to displace those. Even when Viper's out, you can only really displace them. You can't kill them. And this dog, I guess, throws a fair amount of units away doing this, but again, he's also making sure HeroMarine never gets off of 3 bases, never really, gets set up beyond this point as well. And as long as that's the case, I think he's pretty right, or pretty fair to kind of make that choice and to play as he's playing. The prayer's coming through. HeroMarine will push once more. He's not going to let up the pressure. He wants to keep this going all the way throughout, if at all possible. As we push all the way down to the south side, the few Liberators and the Raven coming through already. Liberators will begin to siege. The Ultra is moving forward. Is that Ultra in some trouble? Vipers are going to come through. They're going to drop some parasitic bombs on these libs. Those drones are starting to take some damage. I guess that is one way to deal some damage to these Liberators, the parasitic bombs. So it is once again the Vipers, though, that are really the answer that are in the game at the moment. Supplies are still fairly close, 170 to 150. Thought it was going to be a bit worse, but at some point soon, there's got to be kind of like the final stand of HeroMarine, because he just doesn't have another base. He's only on these 3 bases. We're 12 and a half, 13 minutes in game. There's got to be a point soon where it really is just the last-ditched effort. It is just his final shot, and we've got to see if he's going to make it or not. I don't believe he's going to be able to stay in this forever, right? Surely not. Be my question mark, but I guess we still remain. I'll wait and see. Couple more Lings that sieged up. The Bio's still pushing down to the south. Here comes the Lings, the Ultras, a couple of Banelings. Another Liberator gets sieged up as well. Big parasitic bombs going across everything here as the Lings and the Ultras still continue through. Liberators just doing what they can as the Vipers have kind of put in their work though as well. They've already done what they need to and have put themselves, I think they've done enough for sure, right? These few Liberators still up in the skies. They're low HP, and the army supply of HeroMarine has been dropping again. Doc, really again at some point giving up this kind of left sort of central side and kind of going up the right instead really was just such a big helping hand for him. Nothing really siege just yet. Parasitic bomb the Liberator. I think that will get rid of this Liberator this time around. Drop the next Parasitic bomb on the Medivacs too. I was wondering if he was going to drop a Blinding Cloud, but Parasitic bombs is knocking the agents out of the sky. GG is called, and Doc is going to take game 1 against HeroMarine, as it is going to be the Zerg to strike first in this best of 3. So a Korean Zerg player will be able to close the series out or not. In the bottom left, up 1 and looking for a clean sweep will be our red Zerg from Dragon KZ Gaming. It is Doc. Top right, the blue Terran from Mouse Sports, HeroMarine. Let's see if he can make a series of this. Of course, guys, playoffs will begin tomorrow. We'll be doing the playoff bracket drawing when this series ends. So, excited to see what the playoff bracket's going to look like, see who's going to be fighting who. Make sure you tune in, or stay tuned to the end of these games today. Give you guys a full update as to what things are looking like, where things are at, all of that good stuff. Oh, stand up, stretch the legs out a little bit. How are we all feeling, guys? How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining us as our Overlord of Dark heads across to the upper right-hand side of the map. For just a few moments, so getting set up, getting started here. Been a fun little stream, hasn't it? 5 hours. I was a little stressed out earlier with the Ragnarok thing, but appreciate you guys sitting through. It was a little bit of a weirder group, but we got there. And again, just thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll be live tomorrow for the playoffs. Saturday, I'm taking the day off. Sunday, I'll be here with the rest of the playoffs. And Monday, I'll be actually off all day because of Helen's birthday. So just a little heads up as to what's going on over this weekend, in case you're looking for more StarCrafts. And then next week, actually don't really know what's going on next week, but we'll find something. We'll make some stuff happen. Don't you guys worry. I'm going to keep as much StarCraft pumping out as possible until we're pretty much on the doorstep of Gamers 8. Because I'll be away for a little bit around Gamers 8 because I've got a couple things going on. So I want to cast as much as we can this month, which is actually kind of a quiet month anyway. Yeah, we'll put a few things in place. We'll probably run a little summer tournament as well. A little bit of a build-up for our summer season. Legacy of Dark moving around as we do have a single SCV already in a bit of trouble. That's going to go down. And these couple of Marines putting some damage out. Those things getting pushed over to the sides. More drones, the Roach, the Ravager, all being produced here as well. Bringing out as much as possible. Link continues to chase down this SCV. Couple workers go down. Obviously, you got the Roach Ravager follow up to aggression from Dark. He doesn't want to waste time. He wants to be done with this series. He wants to be on to the next one. Well, not necessarily the next one, but he just wants to be on to the next, done with his day. Obviously, it was a little awkward because when this series was meant to be played originally, it was the servers that broke that meant we couldn't play it at the time, and then we had to do some rearranging, and both players had issues playing here, playing there, so just want to give a quick moment to shout out both for being accommodating to the other, as you do get a few SCVs going down here. Now Roach Ravager will do what it can. 3 SCVs, 4 SCVs. This isn't crazy amount of damage just yet. Love the Ravagers in the front, of course, just morphing in, tanking as much as they can. Actually cancels that one. That really was just a tank a little bit. He knew as a Ravager it wasn't going to be worth the investment. There's a low health SCV that we could target. Feel like we're kind of hitting all the targets that maybe don't make sense, but in the end, 6 workers are going to lose this Overlord as well, though, as Dark, and can't really immediately say that I feel like this was great for Dark. Like, it was okay. 6 SCVs, you're up 13 coming out of this. What I'm really worried about is that this Cyclone Marine behind it, that's going to force some more units. Dark already supply blocked. Like, this little push across the map from HeroMarine might find some pretty okay damage. This is the 3rd hatchery that's only just started building. That's the exact kind of thing that Dark could get punished for. This is the exact kind of thing that doesn't necessarily get up and running in this game. And then Dark is actually still in issues, right? He's playing a 2-base setup, even with a little bit of a decent work count. 2 bases isn't pretty for Zerg, because you're not just limited on economy, you're limited on production. Now, Roaches aren't super lava heavy, but then you're kind of stuck on building Roaches. Well, that's not exactly the greatest deal in the world either. Knock this drone down, the Marines and the Cyclone. I'll be pretty happy with that for the moment here, as our link speed is about halfway done. The Marines and a Cyclone back up towards the top. Both these Cyclones join up together. I mean, HeroMarine's not going to let up the pressure, though. He feels like he can get something done. I do not disagree. Cyclone's going to lock on. They are going to get guaranteed kills, more or less, and the Marines are putting in some good work as well, especially as the Cyclones tank some shots. Cyclones aren't actually dying, right? As link speed is about to be done, but 7 more Roaches. Now Dark's been producing units for such a long time that this is very much so just a case of he's doing nothing but producing units. And the more units he produces, the worse this becomes for him, because now you can see the economies have caught up. HeroMarine's going to be ahead on economy, and this 3rd hatchery might go down one more time, so you're still unable to work off 3 bases. If this gets cancelled a second time, this might just be game. Goes down here, the Roach is going to get traded out one more time. Even if, again, they get the full cleanup, I'm not immediately convinced that that's going to necessarily be enough. As at this stage, HeroMarine's just going to be building it back at home. He is rallying units across the map, which is maybe a bit unnecessary. a little bit careless even. I'd say outside of that, they are kind of looking at and again, just a 6 minutes third base starting for the Zerg. Terran has their third CC ready as an orbital. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. 5 more Ravagers building up, a couple of additional spores coming in, plus 1 attack armor coming through. We're going to see that stim pack is building as well here from HeroMarine, so getting that stim up and rolling. We do have the Zerglings still pressing to the top side of the map. We have a few Marines jumping into our bunker here. The rest of these Ravagers still coming through the front. Let's see what we can do as we start a hit on this front doorstep. Ravagers knocking down one depot. Orbital command force to be lifted up, and just going to be seeing a couple of corrosive piles already coming through. Knocks down the bunker. Marines now have stim. They're trying to dive forward. Low HP Marines as well. It's just not a lot in this army, is there? There really isn't, and these Ravagers are just not going to last that long. They're not made to take, actually take damage. SCV is staying here just to make it a little bit more difficult for the Ravagers to clean up, but every Ravager will go down. I was going to say, where did that corrosive pile go? It actually landed where the Ravager died. That was funky. HeroMarine will take his third base, and yeah, I mean, still, Dark's only just got his third hatchery finished, so all of these drones, they're oversaturated right now. He has to transfer those over to the third, and only then will he start to be competitive in the income again. HeroMarine, a 27 army supply to 6. Let that do the talking. Yes, Dark is stacking up money for the Spire, and I imagine he's just going to be like, surprise mutas, and really just pray that these mutas find ridiculous amounts of damage against a very underprepared HeroMarine, but that feels like more than just a stretch. That feels like we've been, that feels like a hope that's been stretched out, run around the track a few times, and there's a few holes poked in it. I don't know, man. This doesn't feel as though we're going to have ourselves... I don't see this working, TLDR. I mean, you're making some mutas. The drop alone might just kill you at this stage, right? It's not like the mutas are going to be good defensively if a Terran army actually comes your way. There's obviously 1-1 upgrades as well from HeroMarine. Just another reason you're even further ahead. Another reason you're unlikely to fall into trouble. Instant cancel on this 4th base. We're going to find a few Overlords here. Dog's actually supply block. Killing Overlords is actually kind of a big deal right now. 98 over 74. Oh, there's just a ton of Overlords going down. Yeah, I mean, that's just again, just more damage. Good damage at that. Well, Roaches will not stand up for themselves. Not with the 1-1. The mutas are revealed, and the mutas start to die. HeroMarine takes game 2. We're tied up 1s apiece, and we are going the distance. We're going to game 3. In the bottom right-hand side, our decided map of this series is going to be led off by the Red Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is Dark. Top left-hand side. Our blue Terran player from Mouse Sports. It is HeroMarine. Alright, again, this match pretty much comes down to first place in the group. So let's see what we get. As I get this one up and running. Hatch gas, spawn and pool, all on the way in as we get things underway. Nothing too wild on the Zerg side of things. First Overlord is spread now. New Humanity map, which some Zergs like a little bit for the kind of rich Vespine. And, I feel like Dark likes this map a lot more than others do. A lot of others are like, look at this map and like, oh god, like, a Terran that can, really just kind of split the map super easily, play very defensively. All that kind of stuff, I think, is quite daunting to a lot of Zergs. But Dark says, nah, bring it on. He likes to play Roaches and kind of weirder openings himself, and I feel like those kind of builds do very well on maps like Neo Humanity as well, so that might be a part of the reason why you see Dark playing maps like this, while a lot of the other Zerg players do see this as a veto, even in a best of 3 against a Terran. You saw me in Greyfeld, but you didn't have time to say hello like last time? Oh. That sucks, man. I didn't notice you. To be fair, I only spent a little bit of time upstairs. I realize that home story cups now, especially when it's warm, I'm like, it's so busy upstairs and stuff. I'm just like, I like hide out downstairs in the basement a little bit, in like the player area, a lot of the time. This whole socializing thing is daunting, man. Couple CCs. So triple CC on the way up here. Queen on the way up, getting going. Just gonna be seeing a Reaper coming through. You weren't even at the take bar, you were just driving by. Oh my god, no wonder I didn't see you then. That would have been kind of creepy. Like, oh yeah, I saw you there, man. I was like, huh. Reaper drops down a grenade. Queen gonna get a shot or two. Gonna get bobbed back a little bit. So far, so good as we just have ourselves the Roach run again from Dog. Like I say, he likes playing roaches, and roaches on this kind of map can take away some of the problems with it. You can be aggressive enough to kind of keep the game interesting before the Terran can turtle down, so in that regard, I actually don't mind this so much, and we'll see exactly what Dog wants to do. As the Reaper is going to be joined by a couple of Hellions here. The Reaper coming through, just going to be continuing to get settled as we have ourselves a Banshee, a couple more Hellions coming up. 5 Roaches are in production here from Dark, as well as getting those up and running. Obviously, they're going to be a part of his initial defense. This isn't super aggressive Roaches, this is 43 drones. This is very much so just some defensive Roaches, and a Roach style beyond that. I mean, now he's building 8, I'm a little bit more like, what? Well, maybe we try and get across the map. HeroMarine has built a Banshee, though. That Banshee should go a long way to helping. As our Hellions will reach and kill off a Queen, so knocking that down straight away here. Still got the Raven coming up. Stimpack building through Reactor will go down on the factory. And another couple barracks will get set up as well. So again, all 3 of these racks up and running. Hellions and the Reaper help to get rid of one of the Queens there. Now the couple of Roaches coming through to deal some damage. The Banshee continues to put some hurt out, and another Queen going down, so honestly this is going okay. The Roaches defensively are falling, and the drones have to pull from the 3rd base. Dark, by the way, fully mined out the gold minerals here to create the gap to access this space on the bottom side. That also is not something you see every day on this map and this matchup, but Dark's done this a couple times lately, so clearly feels like it's a 3rd he likes having. Roach counterattack, time to undo some of the work that HeroMarine has been getting done on the other side. 5 SCVs already dead, the Banshee coming back here to help. These Roaches kind of just want to go for SCVs, I think. I don't think they want to do much else. Don't think they want to turn around and run, because the Banshee's going to kill a lot of them anyway. These Roaches, the Marauder would be nice to get rid of, get some of the damage out of here, but instead we're just going to finish off the last couple of SCVs. It's 11 workers killed on the counterattack, and Dark has done nothing but hold down the droning key during this fight. 15 workers ahead, I thought he was. In fact, maybe not quite, but about 10 workers ahead now. I think he's actually pretty okay with this. I think this is an okay position. I think that's an alright amount of economy. Obviously, Lair and Evo Chambers tacking up beyond this as well as we get into the next stage of this. Banshee's getting repaired up, so they might be able to go on a couple of missions here. Get further down the line, the Hellions and the Reaper around the right. A couple of those drones going down. Just going to be seeing the Hellions and the Reaper again chasing. There's the 1-1 we expected to see. There is the Ling speed as well, so all of that starts to come through. 1-1 upgrades and the combat shield producing. And Dog just happy to tech up himself. Infestation Pit, Hydraless Den, all of these things that just typically lead us into a much later game here is all, basically all the things that we're going to start sending ourselves into here is Dog. So, yep, Dog is prepping for the later stages, Roaches into Hydras and Vipers. Potentially then a Lurker switch down the line as well is obviously a possibility. Hellions just trying to find a little bit more creep spread. Obviously, any creep you can get rid of, the better. As our extra roach count continues to produce, and again, link speed, the roach speed, all coming out. A few units coming back down the right-hand side here as HeroMarine to try and see what else we can do. The couple Hellions, the Raven and the Reaper, making their way around the right. A few roaches get there immediately. The Hellions get turned around. And it is Hive and Lurker Den on the way from Dark, so he's going to really choose to go straight towards those Lurkers. Not necessarily just Roach, Hydra, Viper at first, but yeah, really kind of prioritizing getting to the Lurkers ASAP. Well, the Spores on the way out. We do have creep spread. Actually really is kind of going almost everywhere around the map at the moment. Kind of spreading around all over the place as we get ourselves all set. One thing HeroMarine is maybe not doing too much of is he's on 8 racks once again, very similar to the earlier map in game number 1 of this series where he 8 racks. In the end, Dark was able to clean that up, and it was still close though. It was still pretty competitive for a while. Double drop on the right side, not finding a thing. Gonna be forced to just kind of lift up and back away from there sooner rather than later. Marines unloading on this watchtower. A couple lings go down. Banshees, Marines, and tanks around the top side. The Roach Ravager force of Dark on this far right side as well, and just going to be chilling out here for the moment. There's the Viper and a couple of Lurkers, a couple of Vipers and a couple of Lurkers, and a lot of lings are going to be on the way. This big stim down the right-hand side, going to go straight in toward this hatchery. That's going to get cancelled up immediately. Anti-armor missile lands. The first extractor going down. Again, 5 drones being picked away at. Here's a couple of Banshees chilling out overhead. Our tanks will continue to press forward. It's a lot of lings starting to go down. It's a lot of lings going down, in fact, as it's going to be seeing the army in a really scary position. That anti-armor missile is actually putting in a pretty decent amount of work as well. Kind of fun what a Raven can add in, right? You don't think about the Raven play so much in these matchups, but yeah, in this one it actually can be pretty impactful when it gets the chance. And this is one of those chances. Lurkers are here though. I think Lurkers being out is obviously one of the main parts of the defense from Dark. If it wasn't for those, he might have actually been just pushed through and cut out of this game already. Well, HeroMarine's going to die. He's going to have... No! How is he getting so many anti-armor missiles? I guess if you have full energy Raven, then the third anti-armor missile comes online sooner rather than later. I love that Dark's keeping a few units in front of those Lurkers, making sure that they are not taken out of the equation too early. He knows that their damage is extremely important. He has the lings that are floating through a little bit. We'll clean up the last couple of tanks, and like I say, pretty messy affair. HeroMarine really felt like he was in a pretty good starting point. And I feel like he did okay here. I'm just worried about the fact there's Lurkers on the map. Lurkers are a completely different ball game, you know, once you play against them, and it's at that kind of point now where HeroMarine is doing well. Just needs to try and stop the Lurkers from getting to too high a number and just keep up the pressure. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for him yet, especially not if he loses 3 full medevacs units. That ain't gonna help you out, buddy. Not in the slightest. We do come over there. There's gonna be another little cleanup for a little bit. Let's drop, just trying to try and maybe find some creep thread, checking for a base over in this direction, although there's not one here, so this time around HeroMarine will just back it up and fall away. Man, until those medevacs went down, I felt like this was actually starting to be very good for HeroMarine, but he lost so much supply in the main base. He's going to finish up his 2-2 upgrades. More Lurkers on the way, though, and that's going to force a completely different stage of this game. And that's not one HeroMarine is set up to play. You know, his 4th base is only just starting to build now. His economy is not being set up to play a long macro game. It's being set up to have this one big push and to really succeed from that or not. That, I think, is going to be the problem. Moving on from this point, right? I think that's going to be where HeroMarine perhaps stumbles and falls just because he's maybe not as well set up as he once was. And he definitely just wasn't set up to go, like I say, into the longer stages of this either, so maybe a little bit of a rough situation. He's come through and Overlord in the corner will go down. Four more Lurkers coming up as the Lurkers are going to hit the Bioforce. A lot of these Marines getting coated in Lurker shots as they move on through. All these Lurkers going down. Now we can continue to sit on this hatchery for just a little bit. So onto the hatchery we go. Hydras and the Roaches continue to push up. Another Lurker gets burrowed. Medevac goes down as well. Siege Tank also gets picked. That will go down too, as our medevacs top right-hand side, flying over that watchtower, going to continue across, and they head through the top, towards the top side of the map. So Lurk is coming up, the Hydra's coming through, the drones as well, +3 attack, ghosts, medevacs, all of this continues to come into play. All of this setup continues to come through. HeroMarine supply now really not looking as pretty as it once was, though. This is definitely a game that has changed in terms of the layout. And again, you can kind of see the setup as long as Dark held. The creep spread is everywhere, right? That's not something that's new. That's something that was already in play. It just didn't matter if Dark was going to die right then and there. But Dark didn't die right then and there. Dark held on. Dark saw the next stage of the game. Dark saw the next point. And, yeah, now it feels as though we are very much so in Dark mode. I mean, we do have Ghosts out. We have had HeroMarine take that forward base, so there's still going to be a little bit of a duel. The first Lurkers getting burrowed up here and able to help push back some of those army units. A couple of snipes went down, but not too badly. Lurker on the left gets picked off, another Lurker on the right. It's taken down as well. HeroMarine's still struggling, about 30 supply down compared to his opponent here, and definitely feels like the issue is that he just can't quite find me. He's trying to attack up ramps into these Lurkers. And this is just the creep spread of his opponent, allowing him to, allowing Dog to be so far forward at every point in time with this army. It's just making it so difficult. It's making this extremely tough. Look, it goes down, the rest of the army back over the right. Ghosts, fire units all join up together. The medevac going to come up around the top side as well. It's going to loop around the left here. +3 attack, armor coming through. And extra ghosts and libs still coming up. We do have a medevac just boosting up to kind of load it. HeroMarine realizing he needs to do something, but like he's got work, like so much work to do if he wants to get back in this. Like the creep spread just feels so solid. His own 4 bases are nice to set up, but now Dark is going to start focusing on some attacks of his own. Lurker's in the main, and well, the Ghost is putting in some work to try and shut them down. A lot of Ghosts on the top side beginning to take heavy damage. A lot of these Ghosts are low, but not dead. Oh, the last Lurker's getting a bunch of the Ghosts. Kind of a big deal now at the front. We actually swarm forward as well, and we look for opportunities here to knock HeroMarine down, and it's going to be good enough. GG's are called, and Dark will take the series 2-1, putting him first place.